What's happening? Landlord here, and you already know we standing on business. We ain't playing no games. Let's get straight into it. The Cowboys dropped their schedule for 2024, and you already know, man, I'm going to give you my record predictions. You already know we going to win a whole lot of them, and we going to lose just a little bit of them, but we going to still make sure we do our thing in 2024. Okay, game number one, we going to the Cleveland Browns. You know, it's a matchup between Dak and, Mr. Deshaun Watson, and the revenge game of Amari Cooper. Amari versus CD, that's going to be a lot of things to watch. Tyler Guyton going up against the former Defensive Player of the Year, a reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett. It's going to be a lot of stuff to see. Nick Chubb coming back from an injury, and see if the Dallas Cowboys can stop that run game. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm confident in my squad. I feel like we're going to find a way to pull that off. Even though it's going to be a tough game, it's going to be tough sledding, I just feel confident in my team. I feel like Dak will find a way to get the job done against that good defense they got over there. But I feel like we'll get that dub. We starting out the season 1-0. Okay, now in week 2, we got the New Orleans Saints, who that nation, all of that good stuff, man. Shout out to Kool-Aid McKinstry getting drafted over there out of my city. But you already know them Cowboys gonna have to do something bad to you, you understand? I feel like we'll get a dub in this game as well, and it is what it is, man. You see, we'll have some decent matchups. Derek Carr versus Dak Prescott. You got Kool-Aid McKinstry and Marshawn Lattimore. They got some corners over there. So CD, Brandon Cooks, y'all gonna have your hands full. I still like my team in this matter. But you do got another safety over there. You got the Honey Badger over there. That's something that Dak gonna have to pay attention to. So it's gonna be some decent matchups involved, but I still think the Saints not on that type of level just yet. They still trying to get a quarterback and do some things over there. They got Alvin Kamara and they got another running back, but I'm not too concerned. I feel like at home for sure. It's an early game, but I feel like Dallas will get that dub. So we starting off the season 2-0 according to the trap. Okay, coming in at week 3, you'll see us at home versus the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this is going to be a crazy, crazy matchup. Dak versus Lamar Jackson. That's going to be crazy. And they added Derrick Henry, man. So we're going to have our hands full. That read option going to be crazy. It's going to be a problem. We're going to have to deal with it. Then in their receiving core, Zay Flowers, we liked him last year in the draft, and he went crazy as a rookie and really took over that number 1 role. Then you got the Baltimore Ravens drafted like 4 or 5 receivers. They got Tez Walker out of North Carolina, so he might be somebody that adds something to that team, man. But we're going to have our hands full on that offensive side of the ball. The defense going to have to show up at home. I feel good about home. We don't know if that streak type vibe's going to come back next year, but I do feel a little better that it's at home. We already know what they present on the defensive side of the ball. They got Roquan Smith, linebacker. They went crazy on the defense last year. They got Kyle Hamilton at safety. Then they got a couple of cornerbacks. My boy out of Bama, Marlon Humphreys. Then they drafted TJ Tampa and Nate Wiggins last year in the draft in 2024. So they going to have a decent amount of cornerbacks. They boosted up their defense. That's gonna be an interesting game. I'm not gonna lie, I'm confident in my squad, but if I had to pick out an L, I'd probably say that might be an L going up against that run game that early in the year. Hopefully not, but that might be our first L. Then, week 4, we going up against Danny Dimes in New York. We'll be at New York. You already know that's an easy dub. No Saquon. They got a rebuilding offense, and they still relying on Daniel Jones. Good luck. I'm taking Dak 100 times and never ever thinking about it, never ever doubting it. We'll get a dub in that game once again. Okay, now I got us 3-1 going into the Pittsburgh game. And they got Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. Who knows who gonna be the quarterback over there? Ain't no telling. But then they gotta worry about that Birmingham boy, George Pickens, man. Shout out to him from the hometown. And they drafted Roman Wilson out of Michigan, so that's 2 wide receivers we'll have to deal with. Feel 100% confident in how we can attack them. Then they got the Bama running back Najee Harris over there. If he's still on the team, you never know with a trade coming. Maybe we could trade for him. Who knows? But they got Najee Harris. He's a good running back. We got to deal with him. But I feel confident in my defense going up against that offense. On the defense, they got Patrick Queen, Joy Porter Jr. at cornerback. But, Mike Tomlin usually have a decent defense that he put together, so I ain't gonna sleep on him, but I still feel confident in my football team. I feel like we'll be 4-1 coming out of Pittsburgh. Then we come in against the Detroit Lions with a rematch of that controversial game last year. I'm glad they scheduled that game. That was fun. That was gonna be what the people wanted. The Lions complained forever, and then now we get to settle the score once and for all. They had a great year last year, made it to the NFC Championship, lost to the 49ers. So, they are a good, respectable team, but I still feel like Dallas got their number. That's just my opinion. I feel like we'll get that done. Then, we go on a bye week, and I don't really like the early byes, but I'll take a bye week before we play the biggest op we have in Cowboy history, probably, is the 49ers, man. We got a bye before we play the 49ers, and we probably need it. I can't lie. I would want to say that we'll win this game, but the Cowboys ain't showed us that we can win that game. The last few years, they've been having our numbers, so I can't give us a W in this situation. I just got to be honest. We already know what the 49ers represent. Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel. Them boys got a list long as a grocery list, man. They got a lot of stars over there, a lot of big-time challenges for our defense. So, I ain't scared of them, but I just got to be realistic. I just don't think the Cowboys can beat them until they show me. They're going to have to show me like Missouri. So, I'll take that as an L for the Cowboys. So, after that, we get to see Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons, Kyle Pitts, all of this big-time offense they got. Drake London, they got a lot of offensive firepower over there. I think Kirk Cousins will do well, but I still see the Cowboys going into Atlanta, a game that I'm going to try my best to attend. I still feel like we'll go into Atlanta and get that dub, and I still see the Cowboys being the better and more superior team over Atlanta. Then we got the filthy Philadelphia Eagles coming into Dallas. I feel like that's a great time to play them in November, early November. Everybody got they team figured out by now. Got a few games under your belt, no excuses. Mano y mano, toe-to-toe, blow for blow, probably for the leader in the division at that point. But you already know who I'm riding with. Dak owns the Eagles, and to further notice, Jalen Hurts does not play well against the Cowboys. He just don't do it. So I'm taking my Cowboys against the filthy Philadelphia Eagles. Then we come back November the 18th against the young, hot Texans team with C.J. Stroud, Micah Parsons' best friend of all people. You know what I'm saying? They make all kind of content together. But we got a young, super talented, fresh Texans team. I don't feel like that young team will be able to handle my Cowboys. I just don't. Not at home. I think the lights will be too bright for them. I feel like we'll get it done. CJ gonna have to go throw at Trayvon Diggs, at Deron Bland. I think it's gonna be a recipe for disaster in that game. I think we'll get the better of them. I know CJ is a good quarterback, but I think we'll be able to muster up enough pressure and enough looks to confuse the young man. Year 2 usually be a sophomore slump type vibes. We got a year of tape on you. Hey, I'm taking my squad, Cowboys with the dub. Then we play the Washington Commanders. We got new everything. New GM, new coach, new ownership, new quarterback coming. Jaden Daniels out of LSU. They got new everything. Like, they got brand new everything. Still got the plastic on it, and they still gonna take a L like they usually do against the Cowboys. I don't see no way all of those moving parts and all of those components come together and make the perfect team to be a good team in just 1 year. Is it impossible? No. Is it probable? No. I don't believe it is. I think they'll still be a fringe team. They might win a couple of more games, 6, 7, 8 win team at the highest, but I don't see them being in competition for this division. I just don't. So, I'm taking the Cowboys in that game for sure. Then we got the Thanksgiving game, which is my birthday. Literally falls on my birthday, November the 28th this year for Thanksgiving. And I'm happy about the matchup. I know a lot of people want to see good football and all of that. I feel like the Giants is a pushover. I feel like they're a joke. We should beat the living crap out of them on Thanksgiving. Don't spoil nobody's day. We should be smiling while we eating turkey, you understand? It should be no problems with that game. The Cowboys should handle them like we've been handling them since we had Dak Prescott, except for that first year. You know, they beat them twice. And Dak felt like he took it personal like Jordan. He never let them forget it. I don't even know how many games Dak done lost since 2016 against the Giants. It ain't been many because he took it on the chin. He really wanted to put them boys to bed, put them in a pack. Hey, he can't stand the Giants, so I think that continues. We'll get another dub against them. Then we play the Cincinnati Bengals. Probably Joe Burrow coming back healthy, you know. I have no problems with that. Jamar Chase. Then you got T. Higgins. You got all these weapons they got over there with Cincinnati. That's going to be a big-time game for the Cowboys. But in recent years, I feel like we've had their number, so I really don't feel them like that. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not. But, you know, I've seen my team beat that team with only Cooper Rush without even Dak Prescott. So I feel confident in that team. I feel like my defense should be able to rattle Joe Burrow. I feel like my DBs should be able to stick on to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and hold them down. Hey, I'm taking my team. Call me crazy. I'm taking the Cowboys against the Bengals. Big time matchup. Give me the boys. Now the Cowboys are at the Panthers, North Carolina. Bryce Young. You got Jonathan Brooks, the running back most people thought the Cowboys was going to draft. You got Xavier Legette out of South Carolina. They drafted, man. So that's going to be an exciting game. I look for Bryce Young to be much improved this year, regardless of what the haters say. I know what type of talent level that Bryce Young has. And I just feel like he's going to start to get better as that team get better, as he actually has some targets and weapons. But, hey, look for the Carolina Panthers to be a little more improved with Bryce Young in his second year with some weapons, some actual threats out there to get the job done. But give me the Cowboys. They still a young team, young quarterback. Hey, I trust my defense, trust them to lock them down and get that dub. Then we got the Tampa Bay Bucks coming in. You know, Baker Mayfield had a decent year last year, got to the second round of the playoffs, beat the Philadelphia Filthy Eagles. But, you know, I'm taking my squad. I'm not confident in Baker Mayfield beating my defense. I feel confident in Dak beating their defense. I think it's just going to be a good game for us. And then it's at home. I feel confident, feel comfortable. I'm taking the Cowboys. I don't see a way we can lose that game. Maybe it's close to the end of the season. Maybe we sit some people. Who knows what'll be happening around that time. But give me the Cowboys. Now we go into the filthy Philadelphia Eagles for the last time of the season. December 29th, we'll be going to Philly that late in the year. It's going to be a cold weather game. I don't know what the importance or the intensity will be for the game, but hey, I usually try to say we'll split with the Philadelphia Eagles. I usually say we'll split, so I give them the dub this time just out of respect. I don't want to be super biased. I try to be unbiased when I'm doing my predictions, but I want to say we're going to spank them and sweep them, but I'm going to try my best to not be biased, so I say we split. Then we play Washington at the end of the day. Feel like that's a dub. I feel like we're going to sweep everybody else in the NFC East, maybe except for the Eagles, so we'll get 1-1 with the Eagles and sweep everybody else. So now that I summed everything up, I got the Cowboys going 14-3. I know that sound high, but hey, I did an evaluation on the games. That's how I'm feeling right now. Things can change, injuries, stuff like that, situations like that. But first glance, I'm feeling like we could go 13-3. I know that's on the high end. But on the low end, maybe about, I'd say 12-5 again. You know, you got to throw a couple of hiccup games in there, a couple of games you don't expect to lose. Maybe somebody was hurt here and there, something like that. So it's a couple of games that we could lose. Maybe like a fluke game like the Falcons or the Texans or somebody like that got a chance to upset us when you think about it. But let me know what your thoughts is, how many games that you got the Cowboys winning or losing in the comments. Let your boy know how you're feeling. Hey, if you absolutely disagree with me, that's good. Put that in the comments as well. I just say this to beat on my chest a little bit. I've been right the last 2 years with my record predictions. Go check my work. 12-5 the last 2 years, and that was me. Not 100% on the games, but I was right on the record. So let me just put that on the record. But that's all I got for you today, man. Just holla at your boy, Landlord from Alabama, with the same handle on all social media. And like I say, 1K, 1 love, Cowboys Nation. Let's go.